Greetings, everyone. Happy Monday. I am calling this Mindset Monday. Sometimes I like to talk about money mindset, but I think what I'm going to do with this, at least for the month of May, is to just talk about mindset. I mean, it's something that is super important. And I have to tell you that, I learned so many wise lessons from my father. Listen, I learned many things from my mother too. Like I had the best parents. I was adopted. And I really can't say how I mean, I can't really express how grateful I was for them, but they taught me so much in what I believe the short time that we were together, because my mom passed away in 1998, uh, and my father passed away in 2010. So they're still with me, of course, from a spiritual standpoint. And the lessons that they taught me, I will have for a lifetime. I've also tried to, share some of those lessons with my kids as well, just to carry on their legacy since they unfortunately are not here to teach them in person. But from my dad, I learned about managing my mind. Now, granted, when he first started explaining this to me when I was in my teens, because I I tended to have anxiety, and I didn't realize it was anxiety though. I just want to be clear. I didn't realize I had anxiety when I was in my teens. I thought I was just nervous, I thought I was just worked up about something, or I was worried about a test, or I was worried if this boy was going to call me, or if, like those kinds of things. Like I would worry. Well, of course, then when I was in my mid 20s, then that's when I figured out it was anxiety, and was able to get diagnosed with anxiety, and of course figure out how can I manage my anxiety. But my dad was the first one that gave me such practical advice. My mom was always very reassuring, but my dad said, if you don't learn to manage your mind, and a lot of times he would say, if you don't learn to control your mind will control you. Now, when he first started telling that to me, I didn't really know what that meant or how to even control my mind. Okay. However, I soon realized, maybe it was from hearing it more and then being able to reflect, that he was absolutely correct. If I did not, get clear on my, controlling my thoughts, and in reality, managing through my anxiety and making sure that I did that, then what would happen, and he was right, was my I would be spinning, because my mind would be in control versus me being in control. I know we hear a lot nowadays of, mindset. That's why I even hesitated to even put that on there. But I thought, it is important because, here we are, we're already in May, we're the beginning of the week, the first full week, right? Of May, or wait a minute. Yes, because May 1st was Wednesday. Right. So we really need to get clear on, what's missing, what do we need to work on? And in most cases, it's not more things, you know, it can be one action step that can yield a huge return. And when I talk about a return, I'm, not just talking about you being happier or you being healthier. Those are both very important. And certainly some of the founding principles that why I created the Happy Executive. However, it's about you getting a return on, on money, on revenue, how you're spending your time, how you're monetizing your intellectual property that only you can teach or write. That's super important. The Happy Executive, we work with a lot of founders and CEOs and executives who are not monetizing their intellectual property in the biggest way possible. And in most cases, it's not their fault because they don't know how. They haven't had a sales background. A lot of the people that we work with are super smart, they have advanced degrees. However, they haven't worked in a selling role. Well, I've got news for you. You may disagree with me about this, and that's absolutely fine. I would love to hear your thoughts. And again, I want to keep this to a mindset discussion, but this is somewhat related, and I think I'm going to do a separate, uh, a separate discussion on this. But if we are client facing or people facing, we have a selling component, we have a selling aspect to that. Whether we carry a quota or not, or we're responsible for, for KPIs, that term may be familiar to you, or it may not be. But we are all selling. I just want you to think about that. I mean, even if you just take it to such a very basic level of, you know, talking with your children about how important it is to finish what you start, finish what they start. Like even selling those basic principles, maybe you believe that it's important that, that a child goes to get an advanced degree beyond high school. Maybe you don't. Whatever it is you believe is up to you. But even talking with them about that or presenting the reasons why they should go to a 4-year college or the reasons why they should consider choosing STEM in high school. That's all really selling, whether people choose to believe it or not. But the reason why it relates to the mindset is because if you cannot open your mind to working with people, to enrolling people into your particular service or your company's product, then you're going to be missing out on revenue. And that's really what pulls at my heartstrings because of the people that we have worked with have tended to be introverted in nature. Like I said, did not have a sales background. So, a lot of times, quite frankly, by the time they come to work with us, they, a lot of them have tried just about everything, what they knew to try. And I can hear and feel that their confidence is waning. I can hear and feel that they're ready to give up. And and these are not just these are not just all solopreneurs. A lot of these people are people that have companies. Sometimes before they get to us, they have to lay off employees. Sometimes they have to, take cuts in their earnings. But regardless, if the mindset is not adapted to what your goals are, then chances are you're not even going to know to do the right things, right? And like I said, I say things, really, um, it's usually, one thing, one, way of being, one way of going out and, working potential leads, or one way of enrolling clients can present a huge shift in your business. But the thing is, we have to figure out what is that for your company. What is that thing that needs to be done differently? Because obviously, if we just keep, doing the same things, of course, we're going to get the same results. There is not, at least that I've know of, sometimes I wish there was, but there is not a magical fairy that is just flying around, sprinkling dust, and making things happen out of thin air. So that's why it is super important that when we work with people, we do a sales audit so that we can figure out what exactly, where are they as far as with sales goals, and revenue, and where is it that they want to be, because that gap will clearly identify, what is the most important thing. And sometimes it does involve a few things, but I like to keep it simple and do my best to try to focus on, one thing that would at least, start building momentum, because that is very important. And if we don't have the right mindset, then chances are we're not going to be doing the right thing. I say this because if you can in any way, shape, or form relate to what I'm talking about, I go back to 2014, uh, which, by the way, I'm going to have a celebration this year. I really think that I would like to do some type of an in-person event, or maybe a hybrid, because I wouldn't want to do just in person. I want to have it be on Zoom as well, because we have clients all over the world. I've worked with clients in 42 countries, so I would really like to have, like, it be more of a hybrid experience. But I say this because back in 2014, when I first started working with executives, I started, I had three clients, but then when I was looking to scale up, I would find myself hesitating. I would find myself resisting doing lead generation. And it wasn't just a time thing. Okay, I had to really get super clear on this, because I actually had time blocks set aside, because I knew it wouldn't happen if I didn't do this. I was running my healthcare company, and I had time blocks set aside so that I could prospect to grow my coaching business. Okay. Well, any chance I got, I tried to reassign those time blocks. I'm not proud about that, but I learned a lesson on that, because I was avoiding it. I was resisting prospecting. And there is a post that, if you follow me, you probably have seen this. And it talks about, the lies that I was telling myself. And what I figured out was that obviously I needed a mindset adjustment. But my mind was telling me, my thoughts were telling me that I, wasn't good enough to go around and, charge executive coaching fees. That, who was I to go out there and try to get clients? What if they don't get results? All of those things were popping in my head and they were controlling my behavior. So, my point to this is because my mindset was not focused, I wasn't able to do the right thing, which in that case was prospecting at a bigger level. And 2014 was when I really got clear and learned on limiting beliefs. Like I didn't really even understand what that was. And sure enough, when I was able to dig into that and got some coaching, it was my money mindset, uh, you know, was intertwined with my belief in myself. So, when if you have done any work on mindset and limiting beliefs, then you probably know that it's not just a simple process. Sometimes these limiting beliefs can be intertwined with each other. In my case, it was like my money belief and my belief in myself. Now, keep in mind that when I worked with AT&T, I was earning, over $250,000 a year. I was selling big deals, multi-million dollar deals, and I was earning over $250,000 a year. So it wasn't uh, I wasn't having a problem with a money set point. I was okay with earning that. But what I figured out was, and I was very grateful. What I figured out was I really liked selling other people's services because I didn't have to doubt those. I could believe 110% in AT&T. Now, did I like everything in the process that we had to go through and when they had delays with service delivery? No, but I believed. And that was a big lesson that I learned in 2014 because I was able to understand clearly that my mindset was not where it needed to be when it came to the belief in myself. And it needed to happen because if I didn't get my mindset in place, then I knew I wasn't going to do the right thing, which was prospecting in this case. Now, I've heard this from some of our clients. They struggle with this. But the irony I found, anyways, in my situation, was the fact that I had already been in corporate sales. So, you know, I knew the I knew how to sell other people's services, but I had a lot of hesitation with my own. So I share this today on Mindset Monday so that you can do your own self check. So if there is something, an action that you have been avoiding, make a note of that. And if you don't already journal, get a notebook and journal. And I know some people like to put these notes. I use notes on my iPhone, and I use voice memos. But I would not shortchange yourself. If there is something that you're resisting, do do the old fashioned way and use a pen or a pencil to paper because you will find that it's very freeing. It's very freeing because once you write it down, then, it kind of like I feel, anyways, it's like my mind releases that thought. So even if I was subconsciously thinking that, maybe I wasn't even aware of it, maybe I was, but putting pen to paper helps to make it real. And I feel it can allow you to let things go easier. And the other thing that I would let you know, besides doing a self check and really getting clear, what are you resisting? And you know what? You don't, please don't overthink this. I mean, it could be you resisting going to the grocery store, or which I don't know why more people don't use pickup or delivery. I prefer to go pick the orders up, but um, in today's world, because obviously time is precious, and once in a while I'll go into a grocery store, but it's very rare. And there's really just one grocery store. It's an Italian grocery store that I fully enjoy that experience. But the other ones I will just allow because of time. I will just welcome and allow other people to pick out my produce. It's fine. But anyways, I don't want to get off track here. I'm just saying, pay attention to what you're avoiding. Are you avoiding? Uh, are you are you avoiding posting on LinkedIn? Are you avoiding sending people direct messages? Are you avoiding scheduling your first master class? What are you avoiding? And then write about that. Because obviously, if we're not aware of it, we cannot change it. When I figured out that I had limiting beliefs, which again, I didn't really understand what those were clearly, it was like a term that I heard, but I didn't really get it. Uh, and, those are roadblocks. And it wasn't until I was able to clearly become aware of those limiting beliefs that I had so that I could manage through those. And oh, by the way, once you do get clear on if you have limiting beliefs, which most of the time we get them when we're, I don't know, right around probably age 5 or something, or before age 9. But uh, they can come back. They can come back even after you've managed through those. So just be aware of that. And I'm not saying you want to, like, welcome them, be like, yes, come back. But just be aware, because you could feel that, you managed through your limiting belief, which, I think if you look at the studies, most people have, uh, some most common limiting beliefs are about money or about their self-worth, and those kinds of things. But just be aware that even if you manage through those, you're able to let those go. There we have I'm not a mindset coach per se. I have coached on mindset, and sometimes it is of part of the process with the clients that I work with, but I am not a mindset coach per se. uh, that's not my area of specialty, but I do have coaches that work with us, and they are able to clearly identify the limiting beliefs and help you get rid of those. It is super important though, because they do have the power, and going back to what my dad taught me, those limiting beliefs do have the power to control your success. They can limit your success. That's why, of course, they're called limiting beliefs. So I would just challenge you to become aware or more aware of what you're avoiding. Now, this could also be something completely unrelated to work or your business. This could also be difficult conversations with your children. This could be difficult situations with your spouse, with your elderly parents. It can be different things. However, if it's something related to your business, your performance at work, whether you own the company or not, I highly recommend that you do not overlook this exercise because what I have seen and heard, and I've, personally learned from my own experience, it usually gets worse before it gets better. I really couldn't understand why I kept putting off. At that time, I was just doing cold calls. I couldn't understand why I kept putting that off. And I mean, I only had two time blocks set aside for my prospecting, for my executive coaching. It wasn't like 2 days, it was two time blocks of 2 hours each. And any chance I got, I was, oh, I was putting my focus back on the caregiving, or, oh gosh, if a caregiver called off, well, I better get involved. Even though I did have a team. I would do anything I could to avoid it until I didn't. Until I learned that I actually was avoiding it because I had some limiting beliefs that I had to process through. And it is a process. So again, I wish I had a magic wand. But you know, once you do identify this, you do need to work on it. Journaling is a great, effective way to do it. So I encourage you, I challenge you, because some people like to take action upon challenges. I challenge you to do a self check and ask yourself, what are you avoiding? And please don't overthink it. Like if it is going to the grocery store, or if it is going to get your oil changed, or it is whatever it is, write it down. And you may have three things that you're avoiding. There could be some things in your life, in your home life. There could also be some things in your work life that you're avoiding. But when it's related to revenue, like I said, it will only get worse if you do not become aware and take action. We must be intentional. We cannot wait and see what happens. If there's one thing that makes me cringe, it's when I hear people say, I'm going to try this, or I'm going to wait and see what happens. Stop waiting and start doing. And let me know what tips you have on managing your mind. I like to really give my dad credit for that, though, because he was the one that really got me super clear on how important it was to get in touch with how I'm feeling, and how, what I can do to manage my mind, or as he would say, so that my mind did not control me, because I was the perfect case, the epitome of spinning. That was me if I was stressed about something. And then, of course, when your focus is derailed, then your results are derailed. Let me know what you think. Let me know your tips. Let me know if there's something you're avoiding and resisting. Okay. Talk to you soon.